Hi folks, this is activity BX09 and we're supposed to make that part on the left side. Dimensions are in millimeters. And so first thing I'm going to do is I don't like to start with in a product file when I have a single part. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to start with the part file. And just to make my job easier, I'm going to name it right here, BX09, because there are other ways of doing it, but that's what I'm going to do. And immediately save it. So file, save management. This is the file. See, it says new, save as. I have a folder that I've already created called week one CAD basically. So I'm going to save it in that file. Okay. From now on, every time I click on this floppy down here, it takes the other one. I don't have to go through that file save management unless I create another file and then I want to do something with it. Okay. Now notice that the dimensions here are in millimeter, and these are 4 millimeter, 5 millimeter, etc. So on that vertical plane, I'm going to sketch. Now, if you notice the first activity that I did, AX11, I already changed the spacing, so these are 10 millimeters, and it's divided into 10 pieces. So it's kind of, if I want to do this, maybe I try to do it inside of one of these, or I can go and change the spacing. In other words, instead of this being 10, I can go and change it to maybe 4. As a matter of fact, let me do that. Let me do that. It's a good reminder of how it's done. So we go to Tools, Options, and under Mechanical Design, click on the sketcher. Notice that here it says 10 millimeter. I'm going to change that thing to 5. How about that? And then 10 subdivisions. Maybe actually, let me make it 5 divisions. And then we look at it, see what happens. So notice that each one of these is 5 millimeters and it's divided into 5 pieces. Okay. So let me go ahead and make that. I will use a profile, and initially I'm not going to worry about being symmetric with respect to the vertical axis. I'll do that in a minute. So I go and make the periphery of that. It's very reckless, but I'm doing it okay, on purpose. I'm going to do it like that, and right here. Okay. First of all, these are supposed to be vertical, right? So there are ways of doing it, and one of them is to select this and control that, and you go to this icon which says constraint define dialog box, and you make it vertical. Oh, is that vertical? Oh, this one is vertical, but this one is not. Now, if you see, why is it crooked like this? Because if you look at this view from normal view, you see that it will look actually different. Let me close that. I don't want this. Where are my views here? If you look at this as a normal view, see, this was actually vertical. So I do this, again, click on that, make it vertical. And there's so many different ways of doing these. Now I want these things to be symmetric with respect to that line. So there are one way of doing it. You select this, control that, control the middle axis in that order, and you make it symmetric. Okay. All right. Same thing down here. This point and that point and the middle axis to be symmetric. So this point, control that point, control middle axis, symmetric. All right. Now, I want these two, well, for example, I can make this control that, control the middle axis, also to be symmetric. Okay, I think that'll do it. So let's check it out. if I select one of these corner pieces and move it, you see that it's changing symmetrically as I expect. But obviously, uh, I'll just leave it, yeah, leave it the way they are and finish the rest of it. Okay, now let's put some dimensions here. So dimensions, let's see now from here to here, it says 2.5. Okay. Dimension from there to there, this is supposed to be 1.75. Okay. Now what else do we have here? Uh, for example, this top length is 1. All right. And the distance from there to there, so this distance from this point to that, as this dimension is 1.5. 1.5. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, this is supposed to be 1 point, this is supposed to be 2.5. It is 2.5. Yeah, good, good. Uh, is there anything else that I'm missing here? Oh yeah, down here. This is supposed to be 4. Oh, let's see now. Uh, okay, I can't dimension this. The reason is clear, I hope. You understand why? Because when you say this is 1.5, and this is zero point 0.5, that makes this thing 2, which automatically makes this thing 4. If I try to dimension this thing, it's going to come back and say, hey, you can't do it because have already told me because of the symmetry condition, it already knows that this is 4. Okay, I think that'll do it. I don't think I forgot anything. So let's go ahead and select these, draw these circles. So let me do a circle here first of all. On purpose, I'm going to put it there. But then I want this to be on that vertical axis. So I select this point, control that line. I, I like to use this. There are other ways of doing it. Let me show you another way of doing it. So you say, dimension between this and that. You can make it 0 or right click. You can say coincident. Okay, so I was going to do it a different way, but this is an alternative way of dimensioning, making that coincidence. So here, this radius, that radius, I want to make it, what is that, 1.29? 1.29. You say, okay. Ooh. Oh, that's the diameter. Sorry, that's the diameter. So let's go back here. Change that thing back to diameter. 1.29. That's better. And it is 1.25 up from the horizontal line. So from there to there, try it again. Dimension from this center point to that. What is that? 1.25? 1.25. And you say okay. Okay. Now there are two other circles here. Let me make one of them. So I'll do this one, for example. All right, let's see now, the radius, the radius is 0.5. Let's make this in radius 0.5. Let's see if that looks reasonable. Maybe that's the diameter, that's 0.5 actually. Double click on it, change that to diameter 0.5. Yeah, that's more like it. And it's located 0.75 away from here and 0.75 away from the other edge. So let me put some dimension between this point and between this point and that 0.75. Okay, And from here to there, also 0.75. Okay. And now I want this thing to be mirrored with respect to that. Okay. I want this circle to be mirrored with respect to that axis. So let's see now, where is the mirror? This toolbar, shift, operations, mirror that circle with respect to this vertical line on the other side. And that's about it. So all I have to do is to click on the floppy, and it's going to save everything. Exit. Okay, let's fit this thing there. And it looks like we want to pad this thing by what is that pad line? 0.5. So here's the pad. Now can't, let me move this thing out of the way. Shift. Okay, sketch base feature. So pad, that's sketch. And 0.5 is what I have. 0.5. All right, 0.5. 0.5 millimeter. That's what I've got. Now let's quickly click on the floppies to save everything. But I also want to point out that everything that you have done is in the tree. So for example, you drew a bunch of lines and points, and here's geometries right there, lines and points and circle, etc. And then you did some constraints by dimensioning or making symmetric and mirroring. Remember, mirroring is essentially the same thing. Yes. So everything that you did is here. And I mean, obviously, if you go to that sketch, you can delete some stuff, but that's not the purpose of this exercise. All right. Uh, Take care.